I'm going to be giving you a beginner's guide on how to meditate right now, because I feel like it's one of those things that is very confusing and some people don't understand it. And I talk about meditation in all of my videos, but I don't have a video on how to meditate. So we're going to be talking about that right now. And it's one of those things where people don't really understand what it is. All meditation really is just, the deliberate practice of bringing yourself to the present moment and to not really think as much. And if you do think, you simply just let the thought go. And so you're deliberately bringing yourself to the moment, and you're just being here right now. You're consciously doing this. I mean, you can do this by getting to certain flow state activities, like if you're playing a certain sport, or for me, when I'm recording a video, I get into a flow state. And you can get present to the moment by doing simple things like even dancing or going out, or talking to somebody. And you can really get present to the moment when you do this. But then what we're doing in the meditation is we're setting a deliberate intention to focus on the present moment, okay? And that's all it is. You're just deliberately putting your focus on the present moment, and you're just telling yourself, okay, I'm gonna sit down for 20 minutes and I'm gonna be present to the moment right now, okay? And so the first thing that I want you to know is that you don't need to be in any specific position to do this. The position doesn't really matter at the beginning. You can get to better positions where you can kind of go deeper, but as a beginner, the position is not necessary to worry about. So you could just grab yourself a chair and you could just keep your back straight. That's the one tip that I'll give you right away. That's the first thing that I'll teach you about meditation, is that it's best to keep your back straight so that you can stay aware as possible, so you don't fall asleep, because meditation is about being here right now and being in the moment and not really getting caught up in the thinking. And so you're deliberately not getting caught up in your thinking, and you're being here in the moment right now, okay? And so the first step to do this is to grab a chair, keep your back straight, and then so this is what meditation is about. The breath is a great way to start meditating. There's so many techniques, but this technique is personally my favorite. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna shift your awareness, and you're gonna shift your focus, and you're gonna shift where you put your focus on to the sensation of your breath. Okay, and that's what you're gonna do for 20 whole minutes, is you're gonna feel the sensation of your breath, and your goal is to focus on the breath for as much as possible and not forget to do that. Just keep your awareness on the breath and keep your focus very strong. Keep your focus very deliberate, and set the intention that for those 20 minutes, you should set a timer. You should take a timer on your phone, set it for 20 minutes, and sit on a chair and keep your focus on your breath for 20 minutes. And so here's the key, okay? The goal really is to do nothing and not think. Right? Just be here right now. Like, I can even do this right now in front of the video, just focus on the camera and just be in the moment. Right? I can do that. But then what we're doing here is we're closing our eyes, and you're gonna sit on that chair, and you're gonna deliberately focus on your breath. And what's gonna happen is, what you'll notice is that, a thought will come up, of course. A thought's gonna come. And so don't resist that thought, because don't judge yourself for thinking a thought, because you're not supposed to be thinking thoughts, and you're supposed to be thinking as little as possible in meditation. Don't do that. Don't judge yourself and say, like, I'm not supposed to be thinking this thought. Like that's not what you should do. What you should do is keep your attention on the sensation of your breath, and when you notice a thought come, just allow it to go. Right? Just allow it to go. Just almost like watch it. Just be the observer of it. Just kind of be the witnessing presence of that thought, and just kind of like look at it. So just look almost like you're watching TV, or if you're just lying down and watching clouds float in the sky, just kind of watch your thoughts and don't get caught up in the thinking. Right? So don't get caught up in the stories of what your mind is telling you. Just keep your focus on the sensation of your breath, and just be the witnessing presence of the thoughts that come when you forget to focus on your breath. Because this is what's gonna happen, okay? You're gonna forget to focus on your breath. You're gonna forget, and really what the whole point of that, the whole point of focusing on your breath is to keep yourself grounded and present to the moment, where you bring your attention away from the thinking, and you just choose and you make a choice to bring your focus and awareness to your breath. And so what's gonna happen is you're gonna forget to do this. You're gonna forget to focus on your breath, and it's not gonna be easy for some of you. For some people, they might find this easier than others. Some people will find this more difficult, but what you wanna expect, okay, and this is an expectation that you should have, is that you will forget to focus on your breath. You're gonna get caught up in the thinking, okay? But then when you realize that you're caught up in the thinking, all you wanna do is just bring your awareness, shift your awareness back to the sensation of your breath. Okay, and that's the meditation, the whole process of forgetting to focus on the sensation of your breath, and then going back to the breath, and then forgetting to focus on your breath, and then going back, and then so on. That is the meditation. And so every single time you bring yourself back to the breath, and don't judge yourself. If you notice that you get lost for even 2 to 3 minutes, that's totally fine. Just notice what your mind is doing, observe that thought, just notice what you're thinking, just see it as a thought form and nothing else. Don't get attached too much to the meanings and the stories of what's happening, and just simply shift your awareness back to your breath. And so what you want to do is expect that you're going to forget, because some people don't have the habit built up. You're deliberately choosing to bring yourself to the moment, and the breath is just one way to do that, right? There's also other things that bring you to the moment, like, feeling the energy field of your body, or, feeling the sensations. You can even do an open-eyed meditation where you just look at something with full intention and focus. Like some people focus on a candle for those 20 minutes. You can do that. You can replace the breath with focusing on a candle, but this is personally my favorite technique because it really keeps me, grounded, and I do it for the practical benefits that I can carry over into my daily life. Because what happens is when I choose not to get caught up in my thinking and I simply observe it, that's where the real power comes, and I can apply that to my daily life and get those practical benefits. Like when I'm talking to somebody, I can just be there completely thoughtless. Just, or very little to no thoughts. And just, if there is thoughts, I'm not going to really care. I'm not going to get sucked into the content of my thinking. And that's really what it's about. So when you notice that you forget to focus on your breath, just bring your awareness back. Okay, and that's all it is. That's the meditation. And so the way you're doing it properly, because some people say like, well, Francis, I wasn't able to stay focused on my breath for 20 whole minutes. Like I wasn't able to really focus. I wasn't able to stay focused, and I was getting drifted away into my thoughts a lot. So I don't know if I was doing it properly. Well, that's a great question. And the thing is, the whole process of forgetting and going back, don't forget that is the meditation. The goal is just to stay as focused as you possibly can. And if you notice yourself drifting away into your thoughts, just go back to the sensation of your breath, notice what that thought was, and just let it go. Just allow yourself to let it go and don't take it seriously. And so another thing that I want you to realize is to don't worry about controlling the sensation of your breath too much. Just bring your awareness to the breath that is already happening naturally for you, because you're already breathing naturally. If you want to slow it down consciously and begin to slow down your breath consciously, you can do that, because some people tend to breathe a lot faster than they realize because they're unconsciously breathing. But don't worry too much about controlling your breath. Just kind of let it go where it wants to go. If you want to breathe faster, then breathe faster. If you want to slow it down on purpose, you can do that too. But there's no reason to get too caught up in thinking about how fast you're breathing. Just focus on the sensation of your breath. Let the natural flow happen, because you're already breathing the whole day, whether you realize it or not. All I'm asking you to do is just to become conscious of the sensation of your breath. And then so what's going to happen is some people have a really hard time doing this, and they get way too caught up in the thinking. And so a bonus tip that I have for you right now, really, really good tip, is use the thoughts that you have almost as a reminder to go back to the breath. Because this is what's going to happen. Okay, you're going to start meditating, and then you're going to start the meditation, and the goal is to stay as still as possible, right? And you want to stay still as possible, and then what you're going to find is that you can't get a comfortable position, and you're going to be fidgeting around. You're going to get caught up in your thinking. You're going to find reasons as to why you can't really meditate. Your mind and body will give you reasons as to why you can't sustain this focus of the breath and just stay really still. And what's going to happen is, what you want to do is just use all these distractions as a reminder to go back to the breath. That's just a great tip that I found. Like if I find myself getting distracted with something, like I'm caught up into thinking, just go right back to the breath. It's like, I have an itch on my arm, go right back to the breath. It's like I'm overthinking about something, just go right back to the breath. If I have an uncomfortable feeling in my leg, I'll just observe that, and then I'll go back to my breath. And then so everything, every form that's coming into your reality, use it almost as a reminder to go back to the sensation of your breath. That's just so key. Such a great tip that I found, because when I would begin to do that, it's just like you just keep going back to your breath. It's like, I'm getting lost, back to the breath. It's like, I'm lost in my thoughts, back to the breath. It's like, oh man, my leg's so uncomfortable, back to the breath. and just keep doing that. It's almost like a mental bicep curl that you're giving your mind, because you're making a deliberate focus to not get caught up in the content of reality and just to go back to the breath. And you're almost training yourself to be the witnessing presence of your thinking. And this is just so key. This is so practical, because when you begin to do this, this is going to impact, the conversations that you have, the decisions that you make. Are you going to be taking actions from a place of fear? Like, how is your life going to play out differently if you don't get caught up in your thinking and you train this part of yourself? It's going to completely change everything about your life. So that's really what it is. And one more thing that I wanted to explain before I end this video is that it's really best to stay as still as possible and not move. Because when you don't move, what's going to happen is you might notice that for the first 5 minutes of the meditation, you tend to resist, and you tend to be focused on the result that you're going to get. But the goal is to kind of enjoy the process of what you're doing, because what's going to happen is for the first 5 minutes you might be resisting, and then you start to enjoy the process of what you're doing. You start to get so into the moment that you just enjoy the process, and you don't really want it to end because you're so focused on the moment and what you're feeling. And then, before you know it, the meditation's over and 20 minutes is done. And so you want to just enjoy the process and don't move, because what happens is when you feel that uncomfortable feeling of not wanting to move, what you'll find is that eventually, if you just surrender into that feeling, because part of meditation is also surrendering and just allowing what is coming. Like, don't resist any of the thoughts that are coming. Just allow everything to be, and bring back your focus, the concentration back to your breath. You can almost think of it as like a combination of extreme focus and complete surrender, right? Extreme focus and complete surrender. Complete focus of your breath and that single point focus, but also just surrender and allow everything else to be that is not allowing you to focus on that breath. And so stay as still as possible, and you'll feel comfortable. You'll become comfortable with the uncomfortable feeling. I mean, you want to make yourself as comfortable as you possibly can. What I found is that if my knees go below my hips when I'm sitting down, when you're sitting, if you need to prop yourself up with pillows, that's going to make you more comfortable to stay still as possible. That's a nice little tip right there as well that I just remembered. And one last thing that I wanted to tell you, okay, is that don't judge yourself for getting caught up in the thinking. Just keep going back to the breath. And then one last thing is, you don't have to necessarily do this in silence. You can actually use something called binaural beats that I love to use, where it's going to help you really get focused and deep more into the meditation, where you just go super deep and you get more into the moment, because those binaural beats play at certain frequencies, and even if they're not at a certain frequency, just the whole concept of the sounds playing in this way will get you out of your head much quicker. And if you apply this technique, combine that with binaural beats, you'll find that you get extremely focused. And if you do this every single morning and you do this every single day, you'll be shocked. I've been doing this every single day for the last 3 years, and it's just unbelievable the benefits that I've gotten, like, and just how much overthinking just completely vanished from my life, and how present to the moment I got. Because what you'll notice is that the breath isn't the only way to get present to the moment. Another distraction that you might have is that your attention goes to maybe the sounds in your room, like the air conditioning, or for me right now, I hear the plane and the sky. And it's just one of those sounds where, like, you'll never notice unless you're present to the moment. Or maybe like a sensation in your body that you never noticed. And so the breath is just one, like, doorway to be present, but that's what we're using right now in this meditation. But the binaural beats is also going to help you to stay extremely focused and really stay present to the moment, because you might get caught up in the binaural beats and then the noises, but you won't be thinking. And then you just choose to go back to the breath too. And it's like they kind of complement each other in a way where it's super hard to explain, but try it out. It makes it a lot more enjoyable, in my opinion, because some people can't do the whole in silence meditation thing. And so use the binaural beats. I use them so much. It's just so practical. Helps me get even more present than I would think. I personally find the binaural beats helps me get even more present than doing it in the silence. It's just something about it just helps me get really focused. I don't know if it's the frequency that they play it at, like the 432 hertz, or maybe just like sometimes just the sounds are so calm and peaceful, get me so present. I don't know what it is, man, but try those binaural beats. They work. I'm telling you, they really work. So if you have any questions about this video, let me know in the comments below. I'm always happy to answer any questions about how to meditate. And that's pretty much it. So just give you some value, consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell for the videos that I post every single day. Have yourself a great day, and see you in the next video.